Speech off.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, I'm here to do my final November wrap-up for like the last week and a half or so of November. So yeah, I'll just get started on that. I still have all the books I added to Goodreads in November video coming up. That will probably be done tomorrow or Thursday. We'll see, because that one's going to be longer. My twin 1-year-old nieces are spending the night tonight, and yeah, kind of chaotic right now. My brother's coming back from his job in North Dakota, and my sister-in-law is going to pick him up. They're going to drive back in the snow. It's the whole thing. Anyway, I'll just do this and hope we don't get interrupted. So the first book I read in this period is Braiding Sweetgrass by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I gave this one 4 stars. Actually, I read this book probably over the course of this month. So I just so happened to finish it on November 20th. But it was kind of one of those reads that took a little while, just because I'm not a very good nonfiction reader. So, I mean, unless it's like narrative nonfiction, which this kind of was sort of, but anyway, I'll just read the description. They can describe it better. As a botanist, Robin Wall Kimmerer has been trained to ask questions of nature with the tools of science. As a member of the citizen Potawatomi Nation, I hope I pronounced that correctly, she embraces the notion that plants and animals are our oldest teachers. In Braiding Sweetgrass, Kimmerer brings these lenses of knowledge together to show that the awakening of a wider ecological consciousness requires the acknowledgement and celebration of our reciprocal relationship with the rest of the living world. For only when we can hear the language of other beings are we capable of understanding the generosity of the earth and learning to give our own gifts in return. So yeah, this one was kind of like an essay collection of like kind of the different, because she's a botanist, so she works with plants, but she also knows like all the different Native American like stories behind the plants, like I guess, you know, and like the teachings, and so she kind of mixes the two, and that's how she teaches her classes. So like a lot of the book had like different experiences from when she's teaching and stuff like that. It was really good on audio. It's really hard to explain it very well unless you read it, and also it's kind of complicated. There's a young adult version, or like the version for high school kids. I kind of wish I'd read that one instead, just because it would have been less complicated and I would have had to look up less words in the dictionary, but it was still a good read, and it's really good on audio. The narrator's great. So yeah, there's that one. Then I read No Ocean Too Wide by Carrie Turansky. I heard about this one from Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. I gave this one 5 stars. It's basically about siblings who get separated. They were sent to a children's home because their mother got sick, and basically they had these pretty stupid laws back then where they don't really have to like inform parents when they decide to like send their children to Canada for quote unquote better lives. I mean, some of them do have better lives, but not the point. The point is that some of the quote unquote orphans that they sent away weren't orphans, and that was a case for these siblings. The oldest daughter was working as a maid, and she was also not informed that her siblings were taken to be, like, she didn't even have a chance to, like, be able to care for them herself when her mother got sick, when they got taken to the children's home, and they were all separated. So the story is about her and this lawyer friend of hers, basically trying to find them, and that's kind of the gist of it. It was a really interesting, like, read. We get Laura's perspective. She's the oldest daughter, and then we also get what's the guy's name? can't remember his name. Andrew Fraser. Yeah, he is the son of the family that she works for, that Laura works for. And yeah, they meet before she goes off on this quest to find her siblings, and then like they meet again when she's on the quest. It's a whole thing. But there's kind of a romance there. And we also hear about the younger kids and their journeys. So that was interesting. I will say that this is hardcore Christian fiction. Like, I've been like watching Christian fiction booktube for a long time. And so far I have not read a book like recommended by Katie or Amanda or anyone that is like hardcore Christian fiction to where someone who is like atheist probably wouldn't like it. But this is one of those books, I think, because it is like prayer a lot. Like there's a lot of prayer. There's a lot of talk of God. Like it is throughout the book. And I don't mind it. I mean, I read Karen Kingsbury, so now that one is a lot of Christianity in Christian fiction. It's very heavy-handed. Not in like a bad way in this particular book, but definitely it would probably bother someone who was not necessarily into that type of thing. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to say that. There's a lot of praying, a lot of God, It didn't get as preachy as a Karen Kingsbury book, because as much as I love her, like, she kind of has a very black and white perspective on her books. Like, all the people who don't believe in God tend to be bad. And, I don't particularly love that about her books, even though I like her writing. But that wasn't the case in this book. But still. It wasn't preachy, but there is a lot of God. So then I read the sequel, No Journey Too Far. Can't really talk about that, because, it's a sequel. So I gave the first one 5 stars, and then this one 4 stars. Just because, I don't know, it just didn't have the same, I guess, feel as the first one, the same urgency. I don't know. I think I was just more interested in Laura. So, yeah, there's that one. Then I continued my Anne of Green Gables series read through with Anne of Avonlea. I gave this one 5 stars. Obviously, it's a reread. I've read these a million times. I love this book. Anne is a school teacher in Avonlea. Davy and Dora come. I love Davy. I love Paul Irving, this other student that Anne kind of falls for. I love that she has kind of like a little kid that she befriends in these books. And we do see more of Gilbert. Again, I just don't. He's fine. He's nothing special. He just exists. I don't really see the whole thing with Gilbert. Sorry, but I don't. And then the last book I read is All the Devils Are Here, Armand Gamache, number 16, by Louise Penny. I give this one 4 stars. Oh, this was not the last book I read. Second to last. I read this book because I want to get to the next one that takes place in winter, like post-Christmas. It's perfect for December because it's like holiday wintry feel. So I wanted to get the other one out of the way. Basically, Armand Gamache's godfather is injured. And then, like, right after he goes to the hospital, there's, like, a murder that happens in his home. So it's, like, trying to solve that mystery. It was also an interesting read because we kind of see more of Armand Gamache's relationship with his son. We don't really see that much of him in the earlier books. We kind of know that he had some issues, but, he's very much in the periphery. But the end of the book, I'm obviously not going to spoil it, but let's just say it made me look forward to some family time in the next book that's all wintry and holiday-ish. So yeah, there's that one. And then the last book, this is the last book, The Leftover Woman by Jean Kwok. I heard about this one through the Currently Reading podcast and also the Literally Reading podcast. I gave this one 3 stars. So this is about 2 mothers. Jasmine Yang, she arrives in New York, and she's trying to find her daughter. Well, she finds out her daughter... Okay. She had a little girl, and her husband, who is a monster, told her that she died because in China, they have the one-child policy, and he wanted a son, and so he pretty much made it so that her daughter was placed for adoption. She was told that the little baby was dead, and he placed her for adoption. And she found out about it, and so she went to track her down. And the other perspective is, what's her name? I'm forgetting names today. Publishing executive Rebecca Whitney. She's pretty affluent. She is an editor for a publishing house. And she has an adopted 5-year-old daughter. Come on, you can guess who she is, even if it doesn't necessarily say in the description. And she also has a Chinese-speaking nanny for her daughter, so that, she doesn't feel like, she's alone because she's not white like her parents. She wanted her to learn the language and the, culture. But the little girl is very attached to this nanny. And so you see Rebecca kind of wrestling with that. And then she also, does some questionable things that I don't agree with. I ended up giving this book 3 stars for several reasons. First, because it was so slow in the beginning with both of their perspectives. I just did not get into it for the longest time, but at the same time I needed to see how it ended. I just didn't care about a lot of it, so I skimmed. Second, Jasmine needed money to pay the people who helped her get into the country. If not, if she doesn't pay them, there's very dangerous consequences. So, yeah, she had to earn money, so she does some things that I wasn't very comfortable reading about. All right, she worked at a strip club, so I had to skip a lot of those scenes. I didn't necessarily need to know the description of what she was doing, in my opinion, to get the plot. I just needed to know that she found her and all that and how that kind of went down. So I did a lot of skimming past that. And third, Rebecca did some things that also goes against her marriage vows, which, I'm spoiling some things, kind of. It wasn't like an affair, I'll just say that, but she did tread the line dangerously close, so I guess I ended up giving it 3 stars because I didn't like anyone either, like in this book. They all made bad decisions, and they all kind of sucked, except for the kid. And, Jasmine didn't suck, but, she was doing what she had to do. I'm not saying she sucked for working at a strip club. I didn't enjoy a lot of this book, I guess. But I'm glad I read it because it sounded like an intriguing plot. And toward the end, it really ratcheted up. But we're talking like at 85% through the book. Like the last 15% was what made me finish it. I don't even know how I got through the book. Probably just because I wanted to know if mother and daughter were reunited. But yeah, it was Not one of my favorite books, even though it was kind of one of my anticipated releases of this year. It was not a rousing success, so yeah, ended kind of on a low note this month. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!
Speech on. Stop recording video.